Surviving infidelity. I, 20 mil, found my girlfriend doing horrific acts behind my back. Backstory: my girlfriend of 6 years used to live in a rental apartment and we're in same city. After I had a fight with my mom, I kicked her out for putting my kittens in grave danger. Since my mom was no more, I was alone. I thought the best option would be to ask my girlfriend to move in with me, which she did. But things were off. For a side note, I am a kinky guy who doesn't hesitate to do any sort of act and play in bed. It was all good. 2 years ago I asked her for backdoor and she denied, so I didn't ask her anymore. Now in the present, she felt off and different, and I started noticing she is very cautious with her phone. When we were sleeping, I went through her phone. I know I should respect her privacy, but I couldn't help snooping her phone. The only piece of evidence I found was a guy named Akash was texting her frequently. Days went by and I started noticing some of my stuff, which she has nothing to do with, were moved from its original place. I was blinded by love, so I didn't think of it, until my suspicions rose when she was texting that guy till 2 in the midnight while I was asleep next to her. I bought a camera small enough to hide in places and left them. 3 days passed by, nothing. On the 4th day I saw the tape. They were horrible. She did everything with that guy that I asked, even begged her, to do with me, and she denied. Since I'm Indian, performing K-Sutra was one thing I always wanted to do. I told her that as well. She did backdoor in many more positions. I sat there in shock, anger and disgust. The only thing roaming in my head was, why not me? I wanted all that, yet not me. She was living off my money. I was the one giving her everything she wanted, then why? I cried a lot. Next day she was witchy as usual. I told her I needed to show her something. And showed her the tapes. She was petrified and started crying and begging for forgiveness. She said she didn't know why she did it. She was the girl I wanted to marry, and she even met my family. 6 years of love and care wasn't enough? She said she wanted to do all the stuff with me, but was scared. Like, she wasn't scared to do it with a stranger. I kicked her out and packed all of her belongings. This all happened yesterday and my phone is blowing with her calls and messages. I had blocked 5 numbers until now, God knows how many more she has. It hurts for me as I'm thinking that I was not good enough. I just want to know, are all of them like this? Now for the top comments. I'm thinking that was I not good enough? Her cheating has nothing to do with you. You could have given her the world, you could be bloody critic Roshan, and she'd still cheat, because it's who she is. It's her messed up brain that led her to think cheating is okay. Bullet dodged, you've missed nothing of value. Better to find out she's a crappy person now, instead of later. When you're married and there's a house mortgage, car payments, a cat and 2.7 kids who may or may not be yours. I know this has nothing to do with me, yet still I have only one question. Where does the 6 years of relationship go? You've wasted 6 years on a person who wasn't worth 6 minutes of your time. It hurts, I know, but chalk it up to lesson learned. Fix your picker and hope you find a better person next time. Do not commit the mistake of taking her back, you will regret it so much when you find out your 12-year-old child is not yours. Don't look back, the way is forward. Never go back, never take a cheater back. I would never cheat on my boyfriend like that. I also intend on marrying him. She's just not a genuine person, in my opinion. I don't believe that there were no red flags. You probably just ignored them. I believe she was using you, unfortunately. On the bright side, this happened before you married her. Chin up. Take it as a lesson, an expensive one, but it could be worse. You guys could have married, had children, and then this happens. You could lose half your wealth to her. Find solace knowing that this wouldn't happen if it wasn't supposed to. Women seem to get the message that they need to be rather conventional in their lives with their significant others, that their SOs will think less of them if they do certain acts. So, they may do some of these acts with people who don't mean that much to them. It's BS. Any guy would tell you that not doing certain acts with them but doing them with randoms is a deeply hurtful betrayal. Even if it was from a time before the two of you got together. Guys want to feel like there is some part of their life with their SO that is unique and different. Theirs alone. You are right to have kicked her out. And if you need support in staying no contact, we are all here for you. You need to move on. But this is about her messed up attitude. Nothing about you. It says nothing about whether you were good enough. Clearly, she was not. I agree that it's BS. I very much think less of my soon-to-be ex-wife because for what she's done with her affair partners, but would not have thought less of her for doing those things with me. I understand her, to be honest, how she felt when she's doing it. Relationships get unexcited after some time and you're not as excited with your partner as much as the first day. We all have that drive inside, you know, feeling more excited with new partners rather than the same person of 6-year relationship. The difference that draws the line of cheaters though, is that are you able to control yourself? Because it takes a lot of calculation and thinking through to do all that. At your place, it wasn't a mistake and she knew what she's doing. I can see that she is zero self-restraint and was feeling very good when she did it, that she couldn't stop, and her excitement is more important than your 6-year relationship. Judging from how she did it with someone else more than you, positions-wise, he turned her on more than you did. And I'm sure that there's emotion involved, since they were busy texting each other. This might be harsh and hard to stomach this, but it's the truth that you have to let it sink in before you completely understand the reason. You got to completely cut her off and move on. Because if it's not, like I said, things wouldn't turn out this way. There's no other explanation. I know how life dwindles, that's why I offered to do them first to satisfy her, but she refused. Now for the next story. Found out she was cheating by looking at her iPad messages, there's no doubt. How do I begin ending this? A year ago I caught her, 28, cheating, 6 months into our marriage and 4 years of relationship. I'm 33 mil, a farmer, and she's got a job that keeps her on the road, so we both agreed it would be smart/safe to share GPS locations, but it was her downfall. On a gut instinct, I followed her out to a secluded spot and found them naked together in her car. Stupidly, I gave her another chance. Part of the reason I gave her a second chance was because she threatened to end herself. About a week ago, I got suspicious on a gut instinct, always listen to your gut, and unlocked her iPad to find messages with another guy, seemingly in her work field. I scrolled up a page and saw her tell him she wants to sit on your face, and I heart you, which came shortly after a work trip. I've been pretending all is well, because we're in the middle of harvest right now and I don't have time to deal with a divorce at the moment. I've contacted a lawyer, but I'm still not sure how to go about it. If self-harm were no obstacle, I would just have her served at 6 a.m. and enjoy the following explosion. While I hate her guts at the moment, I don't want her to end, but I can't stay. How do I safely burst this bubble? Now for the top advice. Those who threaten self-harm rarely do it. She's just using that to manipulate you to stay. She wants to keep you, so she has the security of a husband and home life to come back to, after having her way with another guy. If she ends up with feelings for him, I guarantee she won't give a crap about divorcing you. Collect any evidence you have of her cheating and serve her the papers. You are not responsible for her actions afterwards. After all, she brought this on herself and now she has to deal with the consequences. This is true, but to be safe, contact her parents and tell them, come get your daughter. She's cheated on me twice and I'm done with her infidelity. She had already threatened self-erasure the first time and I don't want that on my hands, so for the life of your daughter, please come and take her. Once her parents come and get her, have her served. This was one of the best options in my head. Problem is, her mother is a bit of an unpredictable basket case who will likely handle it wrong. My biggest fear is that she will call her right as soon as I say something to her, and ruin the timing of it all. It doesn't help that we're in the Midwest, and all her family is East Coast. So, it's not like they can take a walk over and sort this out last second. Plus both her parents are immunocompromised and have been isolated since March, so that'd leave her bonehead Lex brother to come out. Man, I really should have seen the writing on the wall with this one. Call her bluff on the self-harm thing. You can't let her emotionally manipulate you like that. Worst case scenario, you get a quick out from the marriage and get to exit it with her assets and yours. I know that sounds incredibly heartless, but would you rather live as a slave to her while simultaneously being betrayed? 100% of her debts too. Oof, sorry bro. That's a trap. Sounds like you are looking for excuses to not dump her cheating butt. She knows what buttons to push to keep you under control. Does she have family nearby? If so, let them know what she has been up to and her threats of self-harm. Let her family deal with her. Not at all, this is happening and I'm only trying to keep from having to pay all her student loans versus half. Now for the last story. Still living with her. Hi there, I just discovered this subreddit and it really came at a perfect time. This might be long, please bear with me. Me and my girlfriend were together for 3 years, our anniversary was literally in August. In September she spent a decent amount of time out, and one night when she came back, I had this horrible gut feeling. She was the type of woman I trusted 110%. For the first time ever, I took her phone while lying in bed with her and looked through it. I found the messages she had been exchanging with her coworker, someone she had talked about. As I'm sure a lot of you know, there is nothing more horrible than seeing the love of your life talking with another man or woman in very suggestive ways. I stayed up all night completely numb. I didn't even really feel anything at all. Once it hit very early morning, I walked up to her room, lightly touched her and asked her a question, and my voice just broke. "You're seeing someone else?" The look on her face. Now for some context, I had lost my job due to the pandemic. We had shared a car for 3 years and she always said, I didn't need to get my own because we could share. I had practically no money at all. I've spent the last month living in the house with her, watching her leave every weekend, knowing where she was going but unable to do anything about it. She spends more time gone than ever before. I've walked around the house, she left her underwear on the couch and I picked them up, to toss them in her room because gross, and they were soaked with bodily fluids. You can figure it out from there. I suffer from mental illness. I've spent this time feeling more miserable than I have in my entire life. We've had several conversations for closure and yet every time, I feel worse and worse. I found a new job, I'm trying really hard to get out of here, but I won't be able to until the end of November. I haven't been eating, I have nightmares. I've lost almost 30 pounds in a month. I asked her why she could keep seeing this guy every weekend, knowing how terrible I felt. Because we are broken up, you can't tell me what I can and can't do. I'm independent now and not tied down. The woman I was going to ask to marry me, the person I loved more than anything, became the most emotionally cold person I ever knew. If anyone has been in this spot before, how did you make it? I'm having such a hard time. Thank you for reading. Now for the top advice. Focus all your energy on getting out. Unfortunately, she's not the woman you thought she was. The best thing for your life is to put your energy forward to exiting this unfortunately uncomfortable situation, and start your process of healing. You simply must find a way to get out and find somewhere else to live. When I caught my wife cheating, my boss put me in a motel for 2 weeks and I paid him back over 6 months. Then I moved in as a lodger in a piss-smelling boarding house for 3 months. After that, I shared a flat with 2 other guys. The only point I'm trying to make is that, it is better to live rough but proud, rather than meek and subservient. I know your unemployment status and mental illness is a burden, but please think of every angle you can to escape from this heartless abuser. Please leave. It pains my heart reading your post. Don't be like me. I'm broken that it's haven't recover after years. Before you break, leave that place. Stop looking at her activity. That panties are a sign from her to you too. Get out of here. Just by reading your post is already depressing me and pains my heart. You deserve better. Edit. Also try asking your friend or your family to help you. Either place to stay until last November or borrow some money to rent a room this instant. Make sure you pay back. At least tell them honestly what happened. Leave and block everything. The guy she's with will definitely be cheating on her. I'm guessing you cannot afford therapy at this time, but once you can, start. In the meantime, start exercising. Running is great and you can social distance appropriately. Put yourself into your new job. Start some hobbies, drop a few that don't interest you, then pick up some new ones. Just focus on yourself. I know that's easier said than done, but it's crucial. I have been taking very good care of my physical. My mental health is getting better slowly since I started medication. It's just my emotional state that is suffering. No therapy though currently, but once I have the budget I will. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. Turn the notification on to get updated on my latest posts. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.